Hey, you guys, did you know that there's this incredible truth that is hiding behind the three temptations of Jesus in the wilderness? Jesus was not just being tempted by the devil. What he was doing was reliving and retelling the entire history of Israel in the wilderness. But he was succeeding everywhere that Israel failed. Israel spent 40 years in the wilderness. Jesus spent 40 days. Before Israel went into the wilderness, Exodus chapter 4 verse 22 says that God calls Israel his son. And before Jesus went into the wilderness, Matthew chapter 3 verse 17 says that God calls him his beloved son. And then the testing begins. The first temptation is about bread. The devil says, "Turn these stones into bread." That takes us straight back to Exodus chapter 16, when Israel was complaining and grumbling about food in the wilderness, and when God gives them manna from heaven. Israel continued to grumble and doubted. But Jesus quotes Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 3, and he says, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." Where Israel failed to trust God for provision, Jesus fully trusted the Father, and he was victorious. The second temptation is about testing God. The devil tells Jesus to throw himself down from the temple to see if God is truly with him. And that points us back to Massah in Exodus chapter 17, when Israel tested the Lord and questioned whether God was really with them. Israel demanded proof, but Jesus quotes Deuteronomy again. Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 16, and he says, "You shall not put the Lord your God to the test." Again, where Israel doubted God and put him to the test, Jesus rested in the Father's faithfulness, and he was victorious. The third temptation is about worship and loyalty. The devil offers Jesus the kingdoms of the world if only he bows down to him. And this refers back to Israel turning to idols in the wilderness, especially with the golden calf in Exodus chapter 32. Israel broke the covenant that they had with God. But Jesus quotes Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 13, and he says, "Worship the Lord your God and serve only him." Where Israel started worshiping false gods, Jesus remained faithful, and he was victorious. So you see, my friends, when you see Jesus in the wilderness, you're not just seeing a man resisting temptation. What you are seeing is both Israel and all of humanity being represented in one faithful son. So Jesus is standing in the place of Israel, but he is also standing in our place. Every test that the devil brings is a test that we fail all the time. Trusting God instead of chasing provision. Refusing to test God when life gets hard or challenges come our way. Worshiping God and God alone instead of bowing down to comfort, to power, to control. Jesus overcomes all these temptations, not just to prove that he can, but he does it for us, so that when we fail, and we will, we don't have to stand in defeat, but we stand in victory. His triumph in the wilderness becomes the promise that in him we are not defeated. In Jesus, we are free.